Good morning. I've just started working the night shift, so I think it's my morning. I'm all kind of messed up trying to switch schedules, but wanted to just start building a relationship with you. Yes, you out there in YouTube land. For the subscribers, the few that I have, I would love to get to know you better and actually build a community of people and not just have it be weird where I'm just talking to people that I don't know or talking to myself on a screen. So I thought I'd just walk and talk today and tell you a little bit about me on a more personal level and see what comes out. Don't have really a whole lot planned for this. I'm just out here walking my pooch. It's me and Sarsaparilla. And so yeah, and you know, actually, now that I think about it, I've been trying to build a relationship with Jesus as well. As you know, this channel is about my healing and my spiritual walk also. And one thing that I found interesting yesterday is when I was driving to work and talking to Jesus, I call him Jay, and actually had started asking him some questions because I'm trying to build a relationship with him too. So I was like, do you even like to be called Jay? Do you like to be called Jesus? I mean, that's his Greek name. Maybe he doesn't even like to be called that. I don't know. But what became evident to me was that I'm not really good at building relationships. The Course in Miracles talks about how all of us misuse all of our relationships when we are living in the ego mode, which most of us are. And we use those relationships to get something to make ourselves feel complete. The point is that we use is the key word. And I had, unfortunately or fortunately, an epiphany yesterday when I was trying to celebrate my Sabbath, where I kind of just blew Jesus off. And I don't even know why I do stuff like that. And this whole relationship thing is new for me, especially when it comes to him. So I would not doubt that I would fall into the category that the Bible talks about where, you know, we think we've been these great people our whole lives. Do I believe that? Yes. Have I always had a spiritual life? Yes. Have I had what I thought was a relationship with Jesus? Yes. Would I be one of those people that when the rapture comes or end times come, he would turn away and say, I never knew you? Recently, I would say maybe. And so if you go on the community tab, I posted kind of my humility when I recognized this yesterday, when I kind of blew him off to do a stupid video for this channel, and kind of some of that, some of those feelings. And, you know, it makes me realize that when you build a relationship with the Lord, you can fool a lot of people a lot of times. You can even lie to yourself pretty darn good where you aren't being honest. But when you start developing a relationship with God, it's a whole new level of introspection where you know he knows. So you have to be honest with yourself and to start being honest with him to build a real relationship with him. And so it's funny because I started going through my excuses yesterday of why I blew off the Sabbath. It's not something I've ever celebrated really. And when I first started celebrating it was like, oh goody, I get to be lazy and have the day off. It was all about rest. It wasn't about him. And so, come here, Sapphire. I'm not letting her go in the bathroom or anything. I've got bags in my pocket. Come on, Sappy. Come on. Anyway, so there are no accidents. So I'm walking my dog, and you heard that. Come on. So somebody came out very angry because my dog was in their yard. I mean, it's just walking here on the side of the street in a yard, and I have poopy bags in my pocket. But yeah, so anyway, so let's just move on, shall we? I'm sure that'll come up later, probably in this video, because there are no accidents. And anyway, okay, so the reason I'm telling you all that about Jesus is because one of the new things that I have started doing is when I ride to work, instead of putting on the music, what I'm doing is I'm leaving the music off and just having a rap with him for 45 minutes, which is my commute time to work. So it's a beautiful drive through the mountains, and I just start talking to him. And it's been really wonderful for me because it's like I make sure that all of the stuff is off of my seat, so he's actually sitting there. And, you know, I don't want him to sit on my purse and treat it like he's really there. And so since I've been doing that, it just makes me feel like it's more real. Oh, and there's a gorgeous quote, now that I think about it, from the Course that talks about, and he says in there, the Course in Miracles, for those of you that don't know, is a work where Jesus channeled the information, and it's his course on how to do miracles, because he said we can do them in greater things. But anyhow, the quote in there says something to the effect of, imagine me walking and holding your hand, and it will be no idle dream, or it's not your imagination. Like, he's actually there holding our hand. So when I'm driving to work, I'm having a chat. It doesn't have to be about any particular thing. I'm just talking to him about everything, kind of what's on my heart, and trying to learn to listen to him and discern his voice. And it's just being really, really helpful for me. So for those of you that might be new in your walk, or like me, old in your walk, and we just don't even take that time to have a real relationship with him, to kind of just, like we would with any of our friends, where we want to sit down and have a beer and say, how you doing, man? You know, and just talk about everything, the big things, the small things. So in this video, I want to start building those relationships with you as well. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and I would love it if you could tell me a little bit about you in the comments, any little thing you want to share. I don't know if you can put links in comments or not to share videos, but just, you know, love to get to know you. So a little bit about me. I don't think this will be my testimony story, but who knows, but I'll just tell you the basics. So I am, what is today? Today's October the 30th of 2024. As of today, I am a perfectly fine aged cheese, or aged wine number of 58. I don't even know how old I am. I think I'm 58. Yeah, I'm 58. And I was born in Washington, D.C. My dad's side of the family, so I grew up in two places, Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, which is very, you know, the nation's capital, big city, cultural. My dad's parents he was a lawyer. They were very uppity, kind of weird. Like, for instance, like very formal. So as grandkids, we had to call them Grandmother and Grandfather O'Brien. And we would have formal dinners at night. And this is with my dad's parents, my grandparents on his side. And we couldn't blow the candles out. They would have like the long candlesticks, and we'd have to put them out with the snifter. And it was just like weird to me because I didn't see them much. And who I spent most of the time with was my mother's side of the family, which were hillbillies from the Appalachian Mountains. And so they were, you know, just good country folks, hardworking, salt of the earth. You know, I can remember in the summers we would go up and we were just like wild banshees. We would get kicked out in the mountains. We weren't allowed in the house all day. We'd come home at dinner time. We were out hunting tadpoles and fishing and climbing rocks and trees and like little wild animals. Hey, come here, dog. Groovy. Okay. And so, you know, they would play fiddles and banjos in the basement. Everybody would come over. Music was always a big part of that lifestyle, live music. Everybody played something. And my grandpa was known as the singing cowboy, and my grandma played the banjo. So that's why I learned to play the banjo. I'm learning and I love it. So the good thing that did for me was it made me very, I would call classless. I don't mean like a dirtbag. I mean, like I didn't fit into a particular class of like upper class, lower class, because I had two parents that were on extreme ends of social classes. One was very highbrow, the other one was very redneck. I'm comfortable in any situation, so I can put on, you know, an evening gown and go to a black tie affair and be very comfortable, or I can you know, go to a pig roast in my shorts and shoot guns and drink moonshine by the, you know, bonfire, whatever. And so this has served me really well throughout my life because I could adapt. And I had to adapt, now that I think about it, because my parents never lived anywhere longer than a few months. You know, in other words, in my 12 years of elementary school up through high school, we moved at least once a year, usually back and forth between Northern Virginia and Florida. And this was because my dad, he was a con man, pretty basic. He worked construction and this and that, but he was a shady character. So he never kept a job. So we moved from place to place to place, or we get evicted. And then my mother became a single parent when I was about 7. And so then she could never keep a job. So then we moved. And then when I was a young adult, my life was drama and chaos because I had no parent support. I was basically raised by 2 alcoholic parents, crazy Irishmen, where every stereotype is true. Very dysfunctional household. And so, you know, early, I really didn't have a childhood because I recognized that my parents were kind of not parents, that I had developed this pattern that I had to step up and raise my younger brother and sister. I was always left alone with them to watch them after school, cook dinner, clean the house. When I was old enough to work, my paychecks went to, you know, buying food for the family, stuff like that. And so, and then when I was a young adult, you know, it was just so hard. But I wanted to just say the positive that environment gave me was a few things, and the good things about my parents, which they were awesome. So I always say that my mother was like Lucille Ball. She really was. She was so funny. And my dad was just as funny. So personality wise, I hit the jackpot lottery. My mom and dad were so fun and so funny, and they always made our life fun and funny and interesting, and it is as hard as it was and kind of strange. So that I really give them a lot of credit for. And the other thing, you know, moving so much had done for me was that it forced me to adapt. And because I moved constantly, I had to be very outgoing and gregarious, which I am, to make friends, or I would have no friends. So if we were only, you know, sometimes I would move 3 and 4 times per school year. And so as you can imagine, that's not enough time to develop any lasting friendships. And so I would meet somebody, hey, how you doing? My name's Kelly, blah, blah, because I knew in 5 minutes I'm out of there. And otherwise I'd really have no friends. At least that's kind of how that interpreted for me. My dog is pulling me. Sorry, I'm getting out of breath. She's just doing her thing. Anywho, all right, so I think I might stop there. I don't want it to be a super long video, but that's kind of my early childhood, I would say. So I was a straight A student, 4.0 GPA, very smart. I was class clown in high school, wittiest. I had 3 superlatives. What was the other one? Something. All have to do with crazy personality stuff. Because I just was going to have a good time. And I was lucky academically that, I mean, I would write book reports on books I'd never read and get A's. So, and I'll just continue through college because it's relevant to this conversation. So I did go to a couple of years of community college. My parents never had the money to send me to school. At one point in my early career, I lived in Daytona Beach. I was going to Daytona Beach Community College. I was working. I kind of got kicked out from my parents. You know, they were like, okay, you're 18 or 17 or 18. As soon as I graduated, have fun, you know, go out there and figure it out. And didn't do so good with that. So while I was going to college during those years, I lived in this terrible apartment by myself, rode my bike to college and to work. I was stealing food from the grocery store, ramen noodles, living on those for a while. So life was hard. It was hard in the beginning, but it was great because I had a great family. And what I mean by a great family, I feel very blessed that all of my family, especially my mom's side of the family, my grandparents, all my cousins, like they're the biggest hearted, most wonderful people. Good seeds, just good seeds. Just good people. And so I feel really blessed for that. And they also, so my grandparents got out of the mountains. They lived near Bakersville, North Carolina, right where all of the flooding just happened. We just moved out of that area. Everything there's destroyed, but that's where my family's from. They're all dead now, all of my family. But there was something I wanted to say about that. Oh, so my grandparents, Maud and Marvin, got out of there when they were young to go make their money. They moved down to Miami. And so I grew up in Miami at my grandparents' house. So they had two houses, Miami and up in the mountains. And again, I had this double life where I would have summers in the mountains, wild and free and happy. We lived, and then my grandparents raised us a lot because my mom was a single parent. So we always kind of ended up back at their house in Miami, and they had 80 feet on the water in a little place called North Bay Village, Florida. I still remember the address, everything. And it was the most wonderful way to grow up because he had a boat and he taught all of us grandkids, 11 grandkids, how to water ski. So he would get us up at 5 o'clock in the morning and he would take us little kids out. We couldn't, you know, we were little. And he'd just throw us in the middle of the bay and teach us to ski. And the water was like glass and it was like 5 a.m. and absolutely gorgeous. And here we are just skiing around the bay. As children, it was like magical. We would fish off the dock. We would run and jump off the dock. I guess what I'm saying is I didn't know I was poor because we had such a rich life, full of love, full of good family, full of great experiences in nature. And whether it was the bay or the water or swimming in Florida, or it was the mountains and the fishing and the streams and the, you know, up there, I just fell in love with being outdoors. And so the only other thing I wanted to say about my college life was, basically that I did have a couple of years of college. And you know, the thing that really disappointed me about college was I took a creative writing course. So I love to write. I'm a writer. I used to consider myself a really good writer. I haven't written anything in a million years, but I feel very blessed because I have a lot of talents, natural talents, as far as, you know, most things. I'm pretty lucky that way. And I had this creative writing course in college. And like I said before, I had a 4.0 GPA, but that was because I figured out early that you don't have to learn anything in school. This is going to be sad. You just had to regurgitate what they wanted to hear and you could get the A's. And so that's what I did. And so there was no real critical thinking in it. And so when I got to college, you know, they're all like, this is where you learn to think. And I was like, excellent. And so I had written this paper that I thought was a really good paper, an excellent paper. And my creative writing teacher just bagged it. I got like a D or an F. And it was the first time I actually felt good about my work because I actually gave it some thought. And he was like, it's racist and this and that. I was like, what are you talking about? It's about a puppy and this and that. And I'm like, I didn't even know what lens or filter he was viewing it from, but I got so discouraged because I'm like, if the whole point of going to college is to think freely, but if I think freely, I'm going to get D's and F's, well then what's the point? In the sense that now I'm not going to have good grades to get a decent diploma, to get a degree. And so why go to college? And my teacher kind of counseled me that way. He's like, you don't need a degree. If you want to write, or whatever it was. And at that time, I had 2 little kids and I wasn't sleeping trying to get my degree because I was raising 2 babies and staying up 3 and 4 nights a week all night trying to get papers done. Stuff like that, because they had changed the writing requirements. And every class had to have like a paper due that week or something. And I was taking 5 classes. So I bagged college. And honestly, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And it was just like a waste because I was like, I still get a degree in what? So I can just not use it or change my mind. So that's kind of that. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. And that's a little bit about my journey. So when I was young, also in high school, I played a lot of sports. I was very physical. I played basketball and volleyball and track and tennis. And when I was a young adult, I did triathlons and stuff like that, which is why now I have no joints left and I'm metal from the waist down. I have two metal hips, 2 metal knees. My foot's been rebuilt twice, cut my Achilles tendon. So the past 10 years, I've pretty much been down with surgeries trying to keep myself mobile and moving, which is like why I like to talk and walk with my puppy, because it keeps me moving so my joints don't hurt. Because I ain't no spring chicken, all right? So tell me a little bit about you guys. So those are the early years. The early years were amazingly fun parents. Yes, dysfunctional, kind of drama, kind of some weirdness. But I loved my family very much. I love my brother and sister, my cousins. Like, you know, I feel blessed that I know there's a lot of families that don't get along, or they get together and there's weirdness and there's, you know, they just can't stand to be around each other at the holidays and stuff like that. And I don't feel that at all towards my family. I adore my family. I get upset because I can't see them enough. Now that my kids are grown and they're too busy to see you, or, you know, my siblings live too far away or they're busy, and I'm like, oh, I wish we all lived together in a big compound or something, because I would love that. And yes, of course, like my siblings and me and my brother and sister, we still fight in our 50s like we're children about silly, stupid things. It's kind of funny. You know, we can say bad things about them, but God forbid anybody else says anything about them. We got their back. So it's a beautiful day. Please tell me about yourself, a little something, just something. Tell me your name. How did you get your name? Where do you live? Do you have kids? I have 2 kids. I have a son named Sean, of course, the Irish. So my maiden name was Kelly O'Brien. My brother's name's Patrick O'Brien. My son's name's Sean. So you can see how it gets ugly from there. And my daughter, I have a daughter named Laura. And my son is 34 and my daughter is 31. I have no grandkids. I am very not happy about this. I have been buying... Uh-oh, got this dog here again. Come on, come on. No, come on, come on. Nope, nope, nope. Come on. All right, let's go. No. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. Hey, buddy. All right, let's go. Let's go. Come on. No, it's okay. It's okay. Man, where is this dog? Hello. Oh, why don't you on a leash, buddy? Come on. Move it. You are a huge dog. No. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Sappy, go. Sappy, go. 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 Okay, buddy. Okay. All right. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, let's go. Come on. All right. Stay. Stay. No. Stay. No. Sappy, go. Stay. 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 Good boy. Good boy. Okay. There's my heart skipping a beat. That dog comes out once in a while and it scares me to death because if they go at it, I ain't gonna be able to stop that dog. Okay. Whew. My heart's racing. I don't know where I was. Okay, well, here you go. Got to see a little bit of dog on dog action. My dog's cackles went up. So Safi is not always, she's good with other dogs if they're good with her generally, but if she senses a threat, she'll nip at them. And then, of course, if that happens, forget it. The big old dogs will just want to eat her face off. So, I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, I forgot. So let's let it roll. So that's a little bit about me, about my early life. Tell me a little bit about you. Let's build some real relationships here on this community. Another thing is I would appreciate some prayer support. If you've made it this long in the video, please pray for me, and I would love to pray for you. I used to be a prayer chaplain. That's another thing of my past. I used to pray with people at my church, like, and if, you know, they were in the hospital, I would go and pray with them at the hospital or in hospice and stuff like that. So I really enjoy praying for people. I understand the power prayer has. In fact, I made a video about the power of prayer. It's on here. I forget what it's called. I think it's like pray to get results or something like that. And it's got a little story in there about when my daughter drowned when she was 1 and was on life support and dead and on life support. Same daughter now who's perfectly fine. That's another miracle. Again, thank you, Course in Miracles. Was practicing those principles that kept me sane, and I firmly believed made it so she had 0 physical effects from a near drowning, which she should have not been okay, apparently, from what the doctors had said. So leaving this video with encouragement that I'd like to get to know you better if you're up for it. Encouragement that if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, like a real one, maybe start doing what I did and just rapping with him in the car or something like that. Even if you don't know what to say, here I am, I don't know what to say. Just talk to him like he's your friend that you're just sitting there next to. See where that goes. And we're all going to be family soon. So why not start getting to know each other now? You know, I think about, as I'm studying the Bible now, learning about these Bible characters in history like Moses and Joshua and all of the different personalities, and I'm like, you know, I would love to meet these cats when we go to heaven, and I'm sure we will. And so let's get to know each other with all our good, bad, and ugly, our foibles, because that's the beauty of real relationships, you know, is the laughter and the bread we break and the things we love and don't love so much about each other, but that we learn to grow to love and to tolerate and to accept as, you know, because that's what love is to me. It's acceptance. It's acceptance of the things about other people we don't like, because it teaches us to accept the things about ourselves we don't like as well. And anyway, I love you. I'm gonna go. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.